This class is concerned with how to network. Networking involves the formation of groups, of clusters of individuals who have something in common. They join the network to receive a benefit. The benefit could be enhanced status. By virtue of the membership of the network, they receive a higher status. Or it could be better career prospects, because more people get to know them, more people understand the sort of person they are, more people trust them perhaps. So the networks can be on an individual level, but they could also be industrial, they could be academic, they can relate to companies, they can be corporate. So a company may join a corporate network which enables it to promote itself, to disseminate information about itself, more people understand what it does, the type of company it is, its processes, its philosophy. And this means that the company's got a higher profile. And that can be advantageous in times of borrowing from banks, for example, or just in trying to promote itself within the marketplace. So networks are advantageous, and they can they can operate at different levels: personal, professional, academic, industrial. Now, effective networking involves how to network. This involves techniques and methods to ensure the maximum benefit is obtained from networking. So it's a question of knowing how to network. How should the individual present him or herself in the networking situation? It could be a social gathering, it could be a lecture or a seminar, it could be a presentation, it could be an event of some sort. How does the individual present him or herself? How do they become part of the network, and how do they participate in the network? And how are they viewed by others within the network? And it's important to maintain contacts. Once a person enters a network, it's important to maintain the contacts within the network. So it's a long-term process. Joining networks is not short-term, it's long-term. And normally entry into the network is by referral or by recommendation or by invitation. But once within the network, once others within the network see and trust the individual, they then need maintenance. They need constant renewal. They need contact with that person. They have referred the person, they've recommended the person, they meet with this person within the network, but they need to have continuous renewal of the contact. They need to be kept up to date with what the person's doing. They need to know what's going on. That's the essence of the network. The network is a means of gathering information and then disseminating the information to other members of the network. So the contacts must be maintained. Now, how to network? Well, establish a network group. That would be possibly one way of doing it. Networking requires practice and experience. But establishing a network group may be one way of doing it. Simply getting people similar to, say, yourself. Getting people with similar interests or similar qualifications or similar work experience and forming a network. And then, through the members of the network, inviting others in. People that can be trusted and people who have the same outlook and the same experiences and the same qualifications, the same backgrounds. So the network group expands. Now, it could be that networking simply revolves around events. For example, a lecture, perhaps a monthly lecture, and at the end of the lecture there's an opportunity to talk to other attendees about the lecture, and also, of course, to widen it out, to find out who they are, which company they work for, what they do. So information is being gathered. And an event like a lecture or a seminar or some sort of presentation, this gives an opportunity for people to develop contacts and also to polish their networking skills. It's important, however, to have skills within the network. For example, having verbal and non-verbal communication skills. These are important. Take, for a start, verbal communications. This is essential in networking, or in successful networking. Networking is based on meeting people and talking to them. So clearly verbal communications is important. And that means having good quality language skills, making sure that the person is understood, that the grammar is correct, that the precise words are selected for use. If these are not met, then the contact may be lost, because the contact seems to be very much an amateur. Someone who is not prepared and not prepared to make an effort to meet the requirements of the network. So it's important to have good practice and also to take feedback and to work on the feedback. It may be wise to practice, for example, with colleagues in the office or colleagues on the shop floor, or practice with friends, and listen carefully to their feedback. Take it seriously. If they say that your contact was too abrupt, or you weren't listening, you weren't paying attention to what was being said, listen to the feedback and try and work on it. It's a means of improving your performance. So try to attend social gatherings, but also get family and friends and work colleagues to help you to practice and develop the required networking skills. Sometimes colleges offer courses that can help. If one is on offer, normally these are short courses, perhaps a 1-month course, meeting once a week, that sort of thing. Normally they're quite short, but if there is a local course on it, it may be well worth attending. If for nothing else, you meet the other attendees, which will help you to develop your networking capacity. Now, the non-verbal communication. Well, non-verbal communication is probably as important as the verbal communication. For a start, people are first judged by their appearance. They're judged by how they behave, what they look like, how they're presenting themselves. So non-verbal communication is important. It buys entry into the network. If a person looks professional, looks serious and looks trustworthy, then they will get in. Of course, it's difficult to define what I've just said. It's difficult to define what's meant by someone looking trustworthy. Or it's difficult to define by someone looking serious and looking professional. What does it mean to look professional? Well, it's very difficult. It's probably best to look at the prevailing culture in the area. Look at what let's say the business community do and what they look like and how they dress, and how they act and adopt some of that culture to help to get entry into the networking circles. Non-verbal communications also involve gesture, pulling faces, and how you laugh and how you smile and how you look, facial expressions, eye contact. It's very important to make eye contact, to look the person in the eye, so that there is a deeper form of communication. You understand that you are not just listening to the person, you're taking in what's been said. There is eye-to-eye contact. The two individuals are communicating. Body language is important. The body language should show that you are interested, not that you are bored and you're trying to get away. Your body language is aloof. So posture is important, how you stand, how you act, and how people see how you behave when they're talking. But non-verbal communication can be developed, and as I said earlier, there may be a short course in a local school or local college, or a local community group might offer some courses of this nature. These are well worth attending. In the absence of that, get back to your friends and your family and ask them how they see you. And try to get them to be critical, to make recommendations, to give you feedback, something you can work on, something you can think about. But you should be able to do this naturally. You should practice it until it becomes natural. Otherwise, you will go to the networking session and you will feel too self-conscious, and you will not benefit from the networking as well. So try to build a positive rapport when you get to the networking situation. When you go to the event, which is a networking event, you're going to meet similar-minded people, perhaps from similar companies, doing similar jobs with similar experiences. And the idea is that you are going to give information about yourself, or perhaps about your company, selected information, not all information of course, because competitors may benefit from too free information. If information is too freely given, competitors may benefit. So you're going to give some information about your company, the type of product, where you're located, what you do, how many you make, and so on. And you're also going to collect information from other attendees. So you need to build a positive rapport. You need to build a good relationship with them. It should be a friendly exercise. It's not designed as a business collect information exercise. So you do not produce pen and paper and start writing down notes and interviewing the person you're speaking to. That would be totally wrong. It appears casual, but in fact you are collecting information. It may be, if you collected a lot of information, you may wish to go to another room where it's more private and then make notes where you're not seen, so to help your memory. In the network, you will be remembered if you have a positive rapport. If you come across as a pleasant person who looks professional, whatever that means, who smiles and makes people feel comfortable, they will want to mix with you. They will feel relaxed, and you will be remembered. So the next time you attend a similar function, you don't start at the beginning. You've already started. You're adding to what you've already done and the information you've already done. But it's important that you retain the information and you remember it, so you're able to speak freely the next time. You're able to remember names. You're able to remember the companies that people work for. It may require practice, but it's important that you know the people's names, the people you spoke to, which company they work for, what they do in the company. you're able to remember what was said previously. That's important. If networkers are attracted to you and your interests, they also will take time to get to know you. So it's part of your non-verbal demeanor. It's a part of how you're presenting yourself and what you're talking about and the way you're presenting yourself. And if you come across as an affable, polite person, they may want to know you. So they may want to join your circle within the network. So building a positive relationship within the networking group is vital. That's very important. It's important to be seen as a positive member of the group, someone who is approachable, is pleasant, is polite, is helpful, and also has the capacity to remember names, remember what's been said, and is able to link who's friends with who and who was in the circle when somebody made a particular point, who agreed, who disagreed. So it's important to be able to remember this for the next meeting, so you don't start at the beginning. There must be genuine respect and sincerity in the network. It must be real. It can't be put on. It can't be just sincere for the night. There must be sincerity that's real amongst the participants. It's very difficult to be sincere for the night. People will see through it. They'll understand that you are a fake, that you're not the person you say you are, and they will not respect you. They will not want to know you. The networks will need to know what services you can offer them in order to allow you to grow within the network. So it's important that whilst you don't push it completely, but you just simply say who you are. Someone may ask, who do you work for, and or what do you do, and then you deliver it. But don't turn it into a long spiel about your work and how it runs and so on. Just in a few words communicate what you do. Enough for them to be curious and perhaps at the next meeting to probe it even further. But don't bore the people who are attending. It's important to relate to the other people who are attending, empathize with some points to make and reassure them and make positive comments and interact with them positively and let them see that you are trustworthy and anything that's said is confidential. You're not going to broadcast what they said. They can speak openly. Trust plays a vital role in building relationships. In networking, relationships are very delicate and require a great deal of consideration and trust and confidence. So in networks, don't forget, the people in the network may all work for the same type of company, and these companies are competitors. So they're going to be wary of giving away sensitive information. But at the same time, to participate in the network, they need confidence and they need trust and they need to believe that the people they're talking to are honourable people. Networkers must be able to trust you and the services on offer. If they really believe that they have confidentiality and trust in you, then the network will grow, it'll prosper, it'll develop, and in the next meeting it'll be deeper again. However, when you trust people, then there's a state of vulnerability, because by trusting the chances are you're going to offer information that perhaps is confidential, and in some respects maybe best kept confidential. So by trusting people, vulnerability, the possibility of hurt, arises. So individuals can develop expectations about their networks, and it's important that the other people in the network don't mistrust individuals. It's important that there is mutual trust right across the network, and that the possibility, the vulnerability, the possibility of damage or hurt being caused by what's been said is minimized. So that even though there is a trust within the network, that trust is reinforced by good quality communications, professional people who are acting in an honest and open way, talking openly about their work, their careers, their jobs, about themselves, and generating a feeling that they are trustworthy. If that happens, then the network will flourish. Now, how to maintain contacts? Well, take the initiative to keep in touch. It's important after a networking event that the contacts are maintained. It may be just a phone call or an email thanking somebody for what they said at the meeting, and hope to see them again, and wishing them the best. If some personal information was available, their birthday or whatever, if that was dropped in the conversation, make a note of it and make sure that an email or a card is delivered in time for the birthday. But make sure it's accurate information. Don't send a card if you've got any doubt about that information. So people could meet up for a coffee or for a meal and talk about something that arose within the network. And this leads to further contacts, deeper contacts, more trust, more understanding, and a friendship grows out of it. Share contacts and resources. Don't come across as mean, that you have met certain people and you know certain people, but you're not passing on the contact. You're not prepared to refer people into that part of the network. If you're seen as mean in terms of accommodating others and sharing the resource that you've got, then the others will not want to know you, and your membership of the network will be jeopardized. But by sharing the resources, others will share more freely with you, and this means you will have more referrals, you'll be introduced to more people, and the network will expand. So it's important to share contacts. And encourage communications through social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. It's, if nothing else, it's a point of conversation. When people meet and they're introduced, it may be the case you say, yes, I've seen your posting on LinkedIn, and it's a very interesting position, and blah 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 blah, and this enables the contacts to develop. It breaks the ice. It helps conversation get started. But encouraging communication through social media is just simply a way of reinforcing the contacts and ensuring that there is more contact. And the more contact there is, the more people's names will be mentioned, and the better the networking will be. So these are some issues involved in networking: how to network, why networking is important, the way to go about it, and how to maintain the contacts towards the end. It's an important topic within business. Networking is a very important issue. But that's all I'm going to do in this session, so I'm going to leave it at that and say thank you for watching.